I'm David Verboom. I'm 52 years young. I'm Dutch national. I'm married to Inge, and we have 3 wonderful kids, Lily, Meerte and Luca. And as a family we've always, for many years, 20 years, lived abroad for my work in humanitarian work in Africa and Asia and in the Middle East. I'm really a sport fanatic. I love sports. I'm into football and running, squash, tennis, swimming. I love to be outdoors, and I also like traveling. Seeing the world, meeting new people, meeting new cultures. You always learn from it, and I love going anywhere in the world. I guess there are many things that people might not know, but 2 things to mention. One is that I've traveled throughout North Korea. I was working with a donor agency, and we were funding a big food distribution program in North Korea. And I had the opportunity, to visit many places in North Korea. And that was heartbreaking, the poverty that you see and the oppression that the people are under was just amazing, but yeah, a very life-changing experience, as I said. Another thing which I guess people don't know, and it's good to mention, is that I wrote a book together with my sister, and it's called OMG, Oh My God. And it's a book about respect for different religions, for people of different background. It's about, that as human beings, we all need to be united, we need to work together. And it talks about, the importance of belief and passion in your life. Everyone has a belief and a passion. And at the end of the book, I also explain what I believe and what I'm passionate about. I have many people I look up to and I learn from and I develop. And, in your life, you keep learning from people. But if I could mention one person, it would be my father. My father is now 92 years, but still very fit and very strong. But he's an entrepreneur, has developed a big business in the Netherlands, but also a very humble person. And those qualities is really something I also inspire to and like to follow. Yeah, there are many things in my life that has had a life-changing experience, but if I could mention 2, one was my first mission with Medair. I was sent out and mobilized into South Sudan as a team leader, and just to go out there in the middle of nowhere where people are so hit by disaster, poverty, there's nothing, and to realize, someone from a developed country like Europe, and to see that, it was life-changing. And more recently, visiting a Syrian mother and family in a refugee camp in Jordan, and this lady telling me, that for her the whole world is fighting, the big powers are fighting in Syria, and she lost her husband, she lost her older son, out of that conflict that is going on for so long, and to realize, the desperation, the needs that these people are facing are life-changing for me, but also motivating, to get into action and to try to help and to do something to help these people in need. For me, Medair is unique. Medair is unique in its concept, and I would call it people to people. First of all, we go to the most needy places. Our slogan is go the extra mile. We go to places where no one goes, where you don't find roads, where you find limited access. There is also where you find the biggest needs, and that's what we as Medair, that's our mandate, to go to these places and to stand next to people and to help these people in need in whatever way we can, to bring hope to them. But then secondly, we also mobilize people, professionals from wherever in the world. We mobilize, we train them, we develop them so that they can become humanitarian workers and humanitarian leaders. And I myself are an example of that. After my engineering and my management study, I was working as a consultant, a business consultant in the Netherlands. I was drawn, and I got the opportunity by Medair to go out to the field and to be trained as a humanitarian and eventually as a humanitarian leader. And that's what I call people to people. That's the unique thing of Medair, and for me it's wonderful to again be part of that. I believe Medair, with its human-centered aid that we provide, we can play an important role in the humanitarian sector. We are already doing it. There is sometimes the risk, that the humanitarian and development sector becomes like a business, and we want to bring back the basics. That it's eventually about the people that we're serving in the field, and we do that, for example, through various innovations. For example, with internet now all over the world, we go with smartphones and tablets, to the people that we're serving. It can even be in Congo, in the bush, or it can be in a refugee camp in Somalia or Afghanistan, where we go to this family and ask them directly to give input on what are the needs they have, how can we serve them best, and also to get their feedback to improve our service. So it's a way of partnering with them and empowering them so that they have the options to choose and to develop their future themselves. Yeah, every organization has its values, and for us as Medair, as a faith-based organization, our values are based in the Christian faith, and these are values of compassion, solidarity, accountability, transparency, and these are the values that drive us in the field. Secondly, I think as a faith-based organization, it helps us to work in community, often faith-based communities. It can be Islamic, it can be Buddhist, Hindu, Christian communities that are out there in Asia or in Africa, Middle East or South America where we're working, and it helps us to relate, to have mutual respect, mutual values in our work to help them better and to serve them better. Of course, our motivation, my motivation myself is to go to the places where you have the highest needs, where like a place in Yemen, where people are born and die, but they only see hardship, conflict and poverty. And what motivates me is to know that everyone is created by God, and everyone deserves opportunities, to make their choices for their own future, to have children, to have protection, to have food, to have a job, and that motivates me to be involved and to respond to anywhere and any person that is in need. Well, I have many plans, and we as Medair have many plans. Next year we are celebrating our 30 years of existence, and we have grown a lot. We've been able to reach now 2 million people in need. And we do that with 1,200 staff members, a budget of 70 million, and working in 13 of these humanitarian crisis situations of the world. But my desire is to be able to reach more people, to have a bigger impact. As the number of people that are in need is growing, we want to be more focused, we want to be more agile, more flexible, to be innovative, so we better can reach more people. So we're talking about quantity, but also quality, a better way to impact and to help them. The number of crises and disasters, natural disasters, because of global warming, weather changes, is just skyrocketing and increasing. But also the conflicts, man-made disasters, they're not so short, they're even longer. Look at Syria, look at South Sudan, in Afghanistan. And these crisis situations and these needs, according to the UN, we have now 135 million people that require humanitarian support every day. And then, we have 65 million people that are displaced, either, refugees into another country or displaced within their country. So it's unprecedented, these levels of needs. And for us as a humanitarian sector, those that are involved, although, resources are growing, it's not sufficient. And the access, the resources, the people, the money that we need, is not sufficient. This also gives an opportunity. And that's what you see now, the discussion within Medair, within the sector, is very much, how can we be more cost efficient? How can we be more innovative? More recently, there was a big research done, and it looked at alternative humanitarian action. So as a sector, we're really not just looking at tweaking and changing a bit. We're actually looking at a complete overall, new models, how to better, with the resources we have and the growing needs, how to better meet those needs. And there's inequity, between 1% of the world's richest people have 50% of the world's resources. And we want to bring resources and opportunities to those that are living in poverty and those that are struck by disaster, and give them opportunities, to make their own choices and to decide for their own future. So we're working together with the private sector, with university, with other NGOs, with the UN, with governments, trying to mobilize for the people in need. We try to empower them to have their feedback on the aid that we provide. You know, the staff, our staff that are joining Medair is the key to Medair's achieving its mandate, because it's not the project, it's not the money, it's not our procedures, it's not our cars, it's not the planes, it's the people. And we want to encourage more people to come, professionals. You know, we have a wonderful, what we call relief orientation course, where people go through simulation of a relief setting, a humanitarian setting, so we can see and assess them, you know, if they can cope with the stress, with the team dynamics. And then we also train them, you know, how it is to work in these conflict situations. And then when you go out, you know, the wonderful thing, it's a two-way street. You're not only helping people, you also get help back. You get so much out of it. It's solidarity in action. And so I want to invite more people to join us and to go out to the field to help people in need. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone that is involved in our work. That, you know, it can be the institutional donors that give big grants, it can be private donors, it can be small amounts, big amounts, people that volunteer, people that go out with us to the field, people that pray for us. Everyone is welcome, and we want to thank them. And I believe in this saying, you know, if you help one child, you help humanity. And that's our approach. Whatever you contribute, you know, it has an impact. It has an impact on people's life. And we also want to encourage people to be more involved, you know. We do that through social media. We want to through events that we organize, crowdfunding, many ways that we as Medair try to mobilize people to get involved. And this can be in many different ways, financially, prayer, giving, going. It's only through that support that we can help the people in need.